What's up? What's up? Before I start the podcast and give y'all the introductions, I can tell you this is going to be an interesting episode. Might be a little bit, strange, but my wife wanted to do an episode. She wanted to sit down and record. So this is the result of an awkward conversation, but I hope y'all enjoy. Now let's get into the intro. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is AJ. Welcome back for another episode of the What We Gonna Do podcast. You can find me on Twitter at officialWWGD, on Instagram at What We Gonna Do. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, you can send that to whatwegonado@gmail.com. If you are looking to start a podcast, you should check out Podbean for a free 30 days of unlimited hosting. You can find that at podbean.com/what we gonna do. Also, if you would like to donate and contribute to the podcast, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/what we gonna do. Today is going to be very special. Before we jump into the topic, let me introduce my guest, my co-host, my wife, Kenya.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
So,
Better put some respect on my name.
Yeah.
The wife.
The wife. So, this is going to be interesting. I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but we will try to make it through this. So, y'all just bear with me. I apologize for the quality. This is a little bit different than my normal recording, but hopefully it comes out good. So I'm going to jump right into it. My wife is new, so y'all give her a break. I'm pretty much, what we're going to talk about today is friends of the opposite sex. I wanted to come up with something that, talks about that married life. So for those individuals who are thinking about getting married, those individuals who are married, this is kind of a hot button thing. It's been controversial over the years. Steve Harvey talked about it in Think Like a Man, you know what I mean? Or Think Like a Man 2, whichever one. He pretty much just talked about how, I think his wife is okay with it or something like that. He don't see it as a big deal, something like that. Or maybe he said the opposite. I really don't remember. I think I looked at that insert of that book maybe one time. So, Kenya, we just gonna start with you. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I talk about friends of the opposite sex?
I mean, while married, I think it's possible. I also see the other side of, where it may be uncomfortable, if you're newlyweds or just whatever, but it depends on the nature of the friendship. I mean, you got to know more about the other person, Have you introduced them to your spouse? Is this kind of like a secret thing or they just come around every now and then? I mean, it's just really the nature of the relationship. But I think it's very possible. I'm a living witness that you can have a friend of the opposite sex and still have a, comfortable relationship.
Okay. So I'm going to go back a little bit. My initial thoughts, I'll talk about how I felt when I was younger. When I was younger, it was basically like, no. A woman cannot have a male best friend. My girl can't have a male best friend. I'm her male best friend because I don't feel comfortable. Not that I don't feel comfortable, but I don't think you need to have a male best friend. I feel like any dudes that are kind of sitting on the sideline, they really just waiting to jump in. I feel like if we get into it, I don't need you running and talking to your male friend because I feel like you're going to have two male friends. Either you're going to have that male friend that's like, you know what? I feel you, but you need to give them a break. They're going to basically advocate for the dude or they're going to try to basically talk about both sides where y'all went wrong. And then, which I believe this is the majority, you're going to have that male friend like, oh, girl, he ain't nothing. You need to come over here with me. I don't even, man, come over here. Let's turn on the Netflix. Let's chill. It wasn't on Netflix back then. It was basically like, let's turn on whatever show or something like that. But it was, you got that guy he's the shoulder to cry on. He wants you, to come over so he can put his arm around you, stuff like that. I don't like that. Now, I look at it a little bit differently. You kind of get used to it, you know what I mean? And it's not as bad, but I definitely, agree with my wife. I think, it's something you do need to talk about. It's something that you do need to introduce. It still feels a little bit weird when you think about it, because most of the time, at least I would assume, you want your girl going and talking to other women, maybe older women, maybe her mom, maybe you don't want her getting into it with you and then going and talk to another man about what he think about you.
I mean, it's the same thing for women. We still have the same reservation of our husband having a female friend. You don't want another female knowing what's going on in your relationship and, how you feel about it. So it could be the same on both ends. But I feel like when you know what it is and you met that person and y'all are almost all, become friends, I mean, it can work.
See, did y'all hear what my wife said? As soon as she started off, I don't want no female knowing about what's going on in my relationship.
That's
women
anybody.
Jump right to that. But why it's got to be something like that? It's not just about her knowing about your relationship. I mean, if y'all are friends, she gonna know about the relationship anyway. It's more so about just talking through whatever situation with somebody.
But if this person is a real friend, they're gonna want what's best for you regardless. You should just know what it is in the relationship. You should know if they have ulterior motives. You should know their intentions and why they're here, why they're around. And if this person hasn't shown any signs of trying to deceive or come in between the relationship, or it just depends on the advice they give. Are they giving you more advice of you should leave that person? Or are they giving you more advice of y'all should work it out? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? I mean, you'll know someone's true colors by the advice that they give you.
I mean, I think you got different levels. Again, like we started off just saying that, okay, prior to getting married and then when you get married. So, I mean, prior to getting married, you need to know whatever level you at. So if this person has had female friends for however long a period of time, then those are his like ace boon coons. They not trying to infringe upon a relationship. They not trying to necessarily step on any toes, and he already has them in their place. To him, a lot of times these people are no different than his homeboys. You know what I mean? They females, but they no different than his homeboys. Now, the caveat when you talk about that is, do you know the guy that you're dealing with? There is a difference between these are his friends and his homegirls versus these are other chicks that he smashes and he's just sitting here telling you that these girls are friends or whatever.
Well, that's why it's important.
Crossing the line.
And that's why it's important to know the nature of that person's friendship. If you're only talking to this girl when you're away from home, if she doesn't come around, if she doesn't, make herself known or make herself feel like, hey, I'm not a threat or anything, I feel like you can be more comfortable. But when you only bring up a person's name every now and then, it's going to be making me feel like, okay, well, there's more to this friendship than what you said it was.
I think for guys, we always going to get looked at as worse. No matter what it is, guys are going to get looked at. For us to have a female friend, it's always going to look worse to the woman than how we're going to look at them for having a male friend.
I think it's the same. No. I think it's the same because y'all try to tell us women that y'all are emotional creatures and everything is
she don't let me get my statement out. She don't let me just say everything that I'm trying to say. So, to finish what I'm talking about, is basically like, look, if I talk about it maybe later, after we've already been talking for a certain amount of time, it's kind of like jarring. It's like, oh, whoa. But if she brings up, oh, I got this male friend, it's kind of like we already thinking. Our antennas are already up. What you mean by that? Is this an ex? Is this a friend? I think we'll probably naturally assume that this is a friend. Because I feel like, why would she introduce a friend that's an ex-boyfriend? That's kind of weird from the jump. So I would assume if I would take her word for it. This is the difference between us and them. We probably would take their words. Oh, this is a friend. Now, women are slick. We know they lie. You know, they lie way more than we do.
Just women, huh?
Way more than we do. But we probably be like, okay, that's a friend. What do y'all hear? Women, for the women that listen, what do y'all hear? As soon as a man say he got a friend, what do y'all hear? I bet it's a whole bunch of negative stuff. What do you hear if I come to you or, whatever, and be like, I got a female friend?
I mean, you can assume whatever you want by you saying that. I still would ask more questions until I'm comfortable knowing, okay, well, this is this type of friend.
Do you automatically feel some type of way as soon as it's a female that is outside of you that I'm saying is a friend?
I mean, if you're calling every girl you had a relationship with friend, then I'm going to wonder
That's not the
how you
question
categorize friends. But I would just ask more questions until I'm comfortable. I'm not going to just assume she's someone you smashed. I'm just going to say, okay, well, where did y'all meet? How long y'all been friends? Have y'all ever become intimate? Did y'all like each other? Y'all attracted to each other? I mean,
do you see the line of question? This is an interrogation. That's not even questions. Almost every question that my wife
if you want to keep this friend, you better make me comfortable.
My wife, every question that she just asked made it seem like
if you want to keep a friend
it's
around.
Basically like, did you commit this crime? Did you or did you not? Was your hand on the glove? Are you OJ? It's just like, dang, like it ain't just like, oh, y'all went to school together. Y'all grew up together. Y'all from the same neighborhood. It's all type of stuff. Have you touched her leg? Have y'all went to the movies together?
Be the same
Have y'all kissed?
I told you I had a friend as well.
No, because we not thinking like this. We guys are not. In my mind, I don't know about fellas. Let me know how y'all are feeling. But in my mind, we not thinking like that. As soon as she say, "Oh, these are my friends" or whatever. I do think you need to. I think. The best thing, hindsight is 2020. Looking back, I think it would have been better for me specifically to have introduced my wife to my female friends. Now I was younger. I mean, y'all already know the story. I got married young. I've been married. I always say it's been almost 10 years now. You know what I mean? But really, it's been 8 years. You know what I mean? that we've been married, and it feels a lot longer than that. But I was young. And when it comes to my friends, we don't necessarily get together like that. So it was really just like, oh yeah, I'm still talking to them. I check in on them every now and then, but I'm not necessarily, thinking like, oh yeah, let me introduce y'all to my new girl. Like we just didn't have that type of relationship where they introduced their new guys to me. I introduced my new girls to them. It wasn't that type of relationship. So that was the difference. So I think if I had introduced my then girlfriend to my female friends at the time, it would have been better once I actually got into my marriage. It would have cleared out some confusion, some issues that kind of came up with that. But again, I wasn't really thinking like that,
And because you weren't thinking like that, it did make me have some reservations in the relationship you had with them, because if you're kind of keeping them a secret and I can't meet them, it makes me feel like there was more to the friendship than what you're willing to share. If I'm calling someone my friend, I'm going to say, hey, you need to meet this person, or hey, we need to meet up. But the fact that you were kind of hesitant, it's like, okay, well, you can cut off some of these friends when we go down this aisle, because they obviously must not be that important if they're not around.
Look, so again, y'all gonna hear me keep pointing out stuff my wife say, whether y'all catch it or not. Immediately, she goes to, I'm suspecting something because this person is a secret. Nobody's saying that this person is a secret. Now, my wife is a little bit different. So, I've told her the names of several females while we've been together. I told her, these are just my friends, period. But it was just every so often. It wasn't like all the time. Because again, I don't talk to them all the time. The relationship I got with my friends is not we talk every week, we talk every month. It's just like every so often or whatever. So I introduced the names, whether she remembers or not. Now, flip side, my wife and her male friends. Now, when we were dating, to me, she had several, I don't know if they was male friends or not. Might have been guys she was talking to, whatever the case may have been. But I, for the most part, was cool with it. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal because I'm not intimidated. I don't consider myself a jealous person. So it's like, okay, she telling me she talked to these, whatever guys. I'm hearing these different guys' names, but I've never met them. I don't know what the relationship is. In my mind, they not best friends because this is not what she's telling me. But as we continue on, I start learning, oh, this is best friend, this is whatever. And I was okay with it. Whereas these people wasn't really around. My people, at least, we was kind of checking in. She know they was best friends. She just forgot. All right, so there she go, child.
The question is, can you have a friend of the opposite sex and be married? I believe you can. It's just all about open communication. Now,
that's one
certain
question.
friends that you're going to have to, kind of put to the side. Not put to the side, but,
I mean, you kind of, so we fast forwarding a little bit. You know what I mean? Because, again, you talk about having friends of the opposite sex while you're dating, while you're single. That's kind of, one scenario that you're dealing with. And then when you talk about, okay, now we're married, how should we handle these different relationships? How should we be respectful? I mean, we have family members that have kind of experienced these things to where the guy has had a female best friend and the girl in that situation, the woman in that situation feels like certain individuals are overstepping their bounds. But this is this person's friend. Now, it seems weird because why would a guy, have this woman best friend that's kind of like, oh, next to his sister, next to his mom, this is like the go-to person when your girl is supposed to start, kind of getting into that. You know what I mean? You're supposed to take her feelings into account before you start taking this other person's feelings into account.
I think when you're dating and you have that type of relationship, it's different to separate and draw the lines in the sand because you feel like until you're married, things are going to kind of stay the same because you don't owe anybody anything. This person is not, the priority or, level of importance or however hierarchy, so you're always going to be like, well, I'm not going to diss my friend or put her on the back burner until I know we have something serious and that until you're my wife. So I get that point of it. I just think in certain situations, you got to communicate and you got to set boundaries and you got to communicate to the girlfriend and communicate to the friend. Like, this is what it is. And I feel like it could be a bonus situation. Like, if you're really that person's friend and that confidant, then while we're progressing and maturing and, growing in our relationship, well, that person can almost be the same for me as well. So it just depends. If this person is truly your friend, then this person is going to also be my friend as well. But if this person has ulterior motives and is really like, oh, well, you're the man of my dreams, or eventually one day we'll be together, then no, she can kind of sabotage the relationship in a way.
That's what I call waiting in the rafters. I think everybody who gets friend zoned, not everybody, let me rephrase that. Yes, there are situations where individuals get friend zoned and essentially they're waiting for their opportunity. It doesn't matter if they've known you since elementary school, junior high, high school. They've always been attracted to you. And I think that's where things kind of get sketchy, is when you have friends that you're attractive to or that are attractive. Everybody can feel some type of way about that. I feel like the only time you can really have friends of the opposite sex is if that friend is in a relationship. It seems weird that, okay, we're, boyfriend and girlfriend, or we're husband and wife, and then you have this friend of the opposite sex that's single. And it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know how to feel about that, because what happens when you guys are just having conversations where it's just y'all two, or you're having outings where it's just y'all two? It ain't that big of a deal. Y'all hang out like normal people hang out. Y'all have conversations like normal people have conversations. Maybe she's trying to get some type of advice. Maybe she's trying to catch up, see how you doing, see how your mom doing. It may be harmless, but on the outside looking in, somebody can feel some type of way about that, whether you married or not married. Now, my wife kind of said something that kind of caught me, just talking about when you're single, you have to build respect, because it's just like, okay, I know we dating, but this is my homie or whatever. So I don't necessarily know where me and you going, but this person has this placement over here. Now she did kind of touch on, okay, as the relationship changes, you may need to change that. And I think a lot of people, they don't do that. As you and this person continue to date, y'all get further along, y'all get to these different levels, your friend, you may not be necessarily handling that situation, because in your mind, maybe you're thinking it's handled. It's something that goes without saying. Like, I don't have to draw a line in the sand. Okay, look, I need you to respect my girlfriend. She know to respect my girlfriend. She respect me. That's my homegirl. But that's an assumption. That's not necessarily always going to be the case, you know?
Yeah, and I think people don't understand it all the time, but they need to at least respect it. And if that person is truly your friend, then they're going to understand, okay, well, you know, you're entering into a relationship. And of course, while this person becomes more important or progresses into something serious, then, hey, let me fall back. Let me, you know, I'm here. I'm still here if you need me, but you don't need to be the person to go to. You don't need to be the, hey, what we going to do this Friday night? Like, you need to fall in line. And the same thing one day is going to happen for that person whenever they meet somebody. I mean, you're going to have to fall back.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's touchy, especially depending on how long you've known this friend. I mean, if this is somebody that you consider a sister and they see it as, oh, here go another chick, and now she trying to like take my place, like she trying to step over me, like I didn't know this person, I didn't had they back, I didn't been there for them, and now she coming in and she trying to create distance. I can see on both sides how like, oh, your friend can feel some type of way, and that can kind of come up on y'all relationship. And as a guy, you gonna probably want to protect that relationship with that friend more than you're going to want to protect that relationship with your girl. Only reason being time. There's a big difference in time. I've known this person for 10 years. You've only been here for X amount of time. This person has seen me go through different relationships, and now you come in and now everything needs to change. That's a little bit uncomfortable. That's not what I'm used to, you know, as the guy in the situation. That's not what she's used to in the situation. So it's kind of like a learning curve that people have to get used to. Now, some women, they're okay with it. Like, it doesn't matter. They wouldn't even have this conversation that we're having now. They're like, I don't care if he has female friends. He doesn't care if I have male friends. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, I trust him. I don't think he would do that. Now, there's a little naive, you know, if you just openly kind of go that way to where, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't really care either way, because I think, you know, you need to feel some type of way about it. You know, you.
Now, let's be clear. I'm not talking about all friends you should keep around, because clearly when you are talking and, like I said, learning more about the nature of the friendship, I don't think you should just keep a whole bunch of guys as friends that you've smashed or had relations with. You know, I'm not talking about those friends. I'm talking about the strictly platonic, you know, brothers, you know, friends that you've known for a long time, you know, from childhood, neighborhood, whatever. I'm not talking about the guys that didn't work out and y'all just labeled each other as friends. I'm not talking about those friends. Because clearly in certain situations, those do not work out. And those people do need to be put to the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So fair weather friends. So yeah. Let's put a pin on this. So let's say we talking about people. Let's consider them real friends. We're not talking about no fly by night, no whatever the case type of friends. You know what I mean? Or just smash pieces you didn't, you know, had around for X amount of time. Just like, these are your real friends. Like no whatever. Like no funny business or whatever. These are your real friends. So let's jump back forward. I know I said fast forward and we kind of rewind, we jump back forward. So let's talk about being on the other side of marriage for a little bit. So, okay, now you get married. You still have these relationships. You still have these friends. And again, it depends on your age as well, because age plays a part. Age plays a part in how you handle stuff. When you're a little bit more mature, you know better. When you're younger, you don't necessarily know better. Again, you're not necessarily thinking about this stuff. If you genuinely see somebody as a friend, you don't see anything wrong with different interactions with this friend. You may be on the phone talking to this I'm on the phone talking to this girl. It may be 10 o'clock at night, which ain't no big deal. We've been doing that. We've been doing this since we was younger, since we've known each other, this, that, and the third. Like, it ain't no big deal or whatever. Or we may be on the phone a little too long or whatever. Or it may be like, oh, I'm finna go hang out with my homegirl or whatever. We just finna go grab something, da-da-da-da. And I can understand, again, this is now you're married. So now there's a whole other level to how the woman sees all of those different interactions and if that's okay. Again, I think a lot of things can be killed with a conversation, but can you,
Yeah, I think the dynamics change when you become married. I think of course, you expect a certain level of respect because you're the wife, and your husband, you want more, they're just a different.
Automatically want a certain level of respect. Listen, let me tell y'all something.
A flip switch when you become engaged, and when you ask me to be your wife, that switch goes into effect immediately. It becomes I'm going to be the next person under God that is the most important person in your life. So it's almost kind of like, hey,
fellas, let me tell y'all, that's one-sided. It's only expected from the man. Yes, we married now. I, as a woman now, I'm your wife. I got this ring now. You need to cut her off. You need to leave her alone. You need to stop talking to her. You need to quit seeing her. And then as soon as you, as a man, be like, okay, well, I need you to cut off Johnny and Ricky and Bobby. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I need you to cut off all your homeboys or whatever. They're like, huh? I don't even talk to them like that. Them just my friends, boy. I don't even think about them like that. They not even. Women come up with all this different stuff of why they can't let a relationship go, but they are vehemently incited by anything you say, trying to protect or save that friendship. They like, all right, they not trying to hear that. This is my friend. I've known her for 25 years. Well, I'm your wife now. It's like, what? But this 25 years. Okay, and with that, under God, I'm next in line. Under God, I'm next in line. Y'all don't get quiet now. Come on. Don't get quiet now.
No, I just think as a woman, we're really skilled with our words. And so I feel like I know, just like you say, the intentions of men. I feel like as a woman, she should know that you're married now. So it may not be as appropriate to call you all the time or to, stop and get advice. If she want advice, well, she can come get advice from me too. Hey, come over. We'll sit down and we'll help you through it together. She ain't got to just call you solo dolo and get advice.
First of all, y'all women not doing that. That's bull crap. Y'all not doing it. Second of all, do y'all notice how she just skipped over when I talked about her letting the male friends go? See how she went back to me?
I'll speak for myself. I felt like when, we'll be transparent. I felt like when you asked that of me, I think I felt like I had a better sense of control over the situation. And I knew, it's not this. And it's not that, and it shouldn't be okay. And I have had friends that I've had in my life for a very long time. So to me, you telling me to cut them off, to me, I just didn't feel like that was necessary. But over time, I did realize, my husband does come first and his feelings should matter. And a lot of times I did see the true colors out of the other friends. I did see that, hey, at the end of the day, it all boils down to
yo, she gonna be so fake. She gonna be so fake, man.
I'm not being fake. I'm just saying, hey, okay, what I know now, what I know now is totally different than what I knew almost 10 years ago. Did I make mistakes? Did I think a certain way? Was I naive and thought that, I could have all the friends and take them with me along the way? Absolutely.
And that I couldn't take mine along on that ride as well.
Absolutely. But like I said, I've grown, I've become more mature, and I feel like real communication would have solved a lot of issues and saves you from a lot of, just unnecessary drama, unnecessary arguments, just putting it all out there. If you have nothing to hide and you have, you understand what it is, like just communicate that stuff to your significant other. Introduce them, have the person come over. Like we sit here and we withhold a lot of information and it ends up biting us, in the butt and down the line if you would just been honest from the beginning.
I think that, I mean, you look, you got different strokes for different folks. I mean, with my wife, I think that, again, I was more okay with stuff than she was. You know what I mean? When it came to different friends, when it came to different situations. So like one of her guy friends, we finally got a chance to meet. I had heard about this guy. I had my different feelings about him. My wife had known this guy since junior high school, basically. They done been around each other, but they had fell out. So this is like a best friend. But in my mind, they're not really best friends. They didn't fell out. They, this is whatever. They hadn't talked for a while. So when I'm starting to hear this guy's name, again, I'm not taking it no kind of way. I'm not feeling intimidated or getting angry. Again, I'm not jealous like that. But it's like, okay, I'm aware of hearing these different types of names. Like, okay, this is this, who is that, yada, yada, yada. So finally, I get to meet this individual and kind of we get to put everything on the table. We get to see each other eye to eye, face to face, and feel each other out. And from that interaction, I actually felt good to finally meet this individual. He see where I stand because as a friend, he really cared about Kenya and wanted to protect her, see if she was with a good dude, feel however he feel. He was strong about that. And then me as the husband, again, we both necessarily new to each other, but we're not new to Kenya. He knows a version of Kenya that I don't know. I know a version of Kenya that he doesn't know. And so now we're meeting and we get to be like, okay, cool, man. Ain't nothing funny going on. I got love for your wife. She my sister. She this, she that. And I get to see that, okay, I can look this man in the face and be like, okay, he telling me the truth. Like, I feel like he's no threat. I don't feel like he gonna be on no funny type of stuff. I feel like he's gonna be on the up and up. And we left from that conversation both feeling good to where I was like, okay, cool. Anytime you see him, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no problem. If you talk to him, if you want to go over and hang out with him, that ain't no big deal or nothing to me. And vice versa, where he's now like, oh yeah, man, bro is cool. Like, bro is cool as a fan. Ain't nothing going on. You know what I mean? Like, I respect him as a man and as her husband, and he's allowing me to still continue to be in her life as a friend, and that's cool. You know what I mean? But she's had other situations with other guys where my wife works, they exchange numbers. Now, where I work, we exchange numbers too, but I typically keep work at work and home at home. Now, my wife, the lines are kind of blurred. You know what I mean? So sometimes it gets kind of funny, and I don't even get jealous with that. She has individuals now to where they were work friends, and it spilled over into being outside of work friends, and I could have nipped that in the bud because, oh man, why is somebody from work calling you outside of work? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Now, I didn't let that happen because I know how she would have felt had I had a work friend and now me and this work friend are having conversations outside of work. Because anytime women see a new woman, they not looking at it as anything other than that. When I heard about this person, I was just like, why you got dudes' numbers? Oh, this is a coworker. Okay, and I kind of just let it go. And then when they started talking more, I'm just like, okay, this is getting a little bit more like where they like friends. Like, why is she talking to this dude outside of work and he just supposed to be a coworker? I don't even know how he got a number. Like, what do you do? Ask for her number? She asked for his number? Like, it's just kind of weird or whatever. But eventually I got used to it and,
I mean, this conversation is not just a one step, two-step thing and it just makes sense. I mean, just like with any other relationship, you got to work at it. So if you want this person to stay around and if they're that important, then that other person be willing to, make the other person feel comfortable and to come around and to let them know what it is, what it's not. And then you can both go on your merry way. I mean, it's not that difficult, but we make it difficult because we all like to
have our way. And fellas, you're not gonna be respected. Just let's be clear. Right. The woman is gonna want to be respected and her wishes be respected and your wishes not be respected. Chris Rock said something, I think, in one of his stand-up shows where he just basically said, married men, when you wake up every day and you look up, you look yourself in the mirror, just say, fuck yourself. Fuck your dreams. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your hopes. It's all about this from now on. It's all about her. If you do that every day, you can be happy.
Well, then that means you just need to learn that quickly.
See?
And after 9 years.
And this is why we have problems. Yes, we've been basically together for 9 years, married for 8. But yes, anytime you hear, us say we've grown up, that means we've had arguments and we've tried to learn and we've tried to do better. That's growing up, is getting into it or whatever. So, I think I'll, try to put a cap on this. I apologize. I know we kind of been all over the place, but having friends of the opposite sex, it can work. I think in the best scenario is if when you're dating, y'all get comfortable with each other's friends, even your guy friends, because that's a whole other conversation, because we just want to talk about friends of the opposite sex. But get your girl comfortable with your friends, guys and girls. I know we think it's easier introducing our girl to our guys. That ain't no big of a deal. But introducing our girl to other girlfriends, it is kind of weird or whatever. And I also say this.
Can y'all make it weird? It doesn't have to be weird.
No, my wife actually talked about why it's weird, because again, they're already suspecting something when you get the girl's name out of your mouth. They're already suspecting something.
We can go on and on and on about this, but if you're just upfront and honest and you put it out there, what it is and what it's not, like I said, you save yourself a hell of a long road of drama.
Yeah, and fellas, basically cut off all your female friends before you decide to get in a relationship and before you decide to get married, basically.
I'm your only friend.
That's what you're going to have to do ultimately. Now, one more thing, because I don't want to just cut off like that, but it, makes me think about, your homeboys. I know, that's another little thing that's kind of weird. Like I said, I ain't really want to touch too much on this because we want to stay on this. But for homeboys, a lot of times you don't want to introduce them because y'all know the world's small. You don't necessarily want to find out your homeboy or somebody to mess with your lady or whatever. But you need to introduce her. You need to get her familiar. I don't care if you show her pictures. I don't care if you just bring, tell her about the names, but at least make it known. And then, find out. Don't be nervous about if she done smashed the homie. You know what I mean? You're going to have to handle that anyway sooner or later. You might as well go and get that out the way early.
You going real left with that.
So,
don't introduce them because they might have smashed.
Yeah. What you mean?
Gosh.
A lot of people feel like that. A lot of dudes feel like, I'm not going to introduce. We all from Little Rock. I know she from Little Rock. She went to this school. We all from here. I know this person went to this. So it's like, you do be kind of nervous and hoping that this girl that you're talking to or that you're interested in, that she isn't somebody, one of your partners in Smash or whatever. Now, we different than women. Like I said, this is carrying on to a different conversation, but we're not going and looking nobody up. We're not Facebooking whoever this person is. We're not pulling their card and looking up all their information or whatever. Now, women, y'all will do that when y'all hear a name. Y'all will go and research a person and investigate and do all of this different stuff. Us guys, we not doing that. So if my homie didn't smash you, I'm not going to know until he run across a picture of you or until I introduce y'all to each other. Whereas a woman, soon as she hear, whatever name, she already looking up like, oh, do he know such and such? Do he know, whoever? We're not necessarily doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe y'all should learn a thing or two from women.
So, this is how the conversation goes. This is AJ and
Kenya.
My wife.
The wife.
The wife. I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Again, y'all can find me on Twitter at officialWWGD. On Instagram at whatwegonddo. Feel free to email me whatwegonddo@gmail.com. Support my Patreon. Patreon.com/whatwegonddo. Also, if you are interested in starting a podcast, get a free 30 days of unlimited hosting on podbean.com/whatwegonddo. Peace. Signing out.